Columbus, Georgia, this is your City Council. Mayor, Skip Henderson. City Manager, Isaiah Hughley. Pops Barnes, District 1. Glenn Davis, District 2. Bruce Huff, District 3. Evelyn Turner Pugh, Mayor Pro Tem and District 4. Charmaine Crabb, District 5. Gary Allen, District 6. Mimi Woodson, District 7. Walker Garrett, District 8. Judy Thomas, Post 9 at-large Counselor. John House, Post 10 at-large Counselor. Sandra Davis, Clerk of Council. And City Attorney Clifton Fay. Columbus, Georgia, this is your City Council.
And thank you all for joining us. Welcome to the April 2nd Columbus Council meeting, and this is always a special one for the councilors that are in attendance this evening. This is an opportunity for us to recognize people within our community that just by doing what they do every day, do amazing things. So it should be a fun-filled evening. We're glad you're here to join us. But we are going to start this meeting as we start all of our meetings at the Columbus City Council, and that is by asking God's blessings on these proceedings. And I want to welcome to the podium up here our pastor, Donovan O. Coley from Forest Park Baptist Church. And you're going to get to meet a bunch of Coleys tonight. So welcome, sir. We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Can we bow our heads in words of prayer and blessings? Great God, again, we thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you for our country. We thank you for our nation. We thank you for our city. We thank you for the men and women that are serving. We thank you for this council as they give so much of their time and their energy. We ask that you grant peace in their life, that you make sure home is taken care of even when they're absent. We appreciate you. We adore you. Give them the leadership, the skills, and the boldness to do what's best for the kingdom, but most of all, for thy will and thy way. We love you. We thank you. In the name of the risen Savior, Jesus Christ, we pray. And all of his believers said, amen.
Amen. Pastor, thank you so much, and thank your church for sharing you with us this evening. And to lead us in our pledge, we have the youth of Forest Park Baptist Church. So I'm going to ask them, some amazing young people, to come up here and stand right here and face the flag. And if y'all will join me by stand to your feet, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Now, if y'all would, turn around so they can see what good-looking youngsters you are, and give us, tell us your name, your age, and where you go to school.
I am Harper Coley. I go to Matthews Elementary School. I am 11 years old. And I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Hudson Coley. I'm in 2nd grade at Matthews Elementary School. I'm 8 years old.
My name is Hilton Coley. I'm in 1st grade. I go to Matthew Elementary, and I'm the Tiferet Tiger today.
Oh, and listen, there's one Coley we didn't get to recognize. So why don't you tell it? You don't have to tell us your age, but tell us your name. And we.
Wife of this one. I greet you from Forest Park Baptist Church on Chautauqua Road. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great family and what a great way to start our meeting. Thank you guys for being here with us tonight. All right, well, we do get to recognize some individuals this evening, and we're going to start. Counselor Crabb If you'd hit your button, we'll get you turned on. I'll try it again. I think Bruce beat me to it again. Okay. I have a proclamation for the Sexual Assault Support Center. I think Kyle is here. Would you and your group come forward, please? Welcome.
Hi there. Thank you. Whereas in 1981, the Sexual Assault Support Center, AKA the Center at 909, was established to support sexual assault victims and their family members, and this year celebrates its 38th anniversary of providing services. And whereas the focus of the center at 909 is to educate the community on prevention, education, and awareness of sexual assault, for 2018, the Center of 909 provided services to 230 new clients, 330 family center counseling sessions, 510 crisis and client calls, and 710 hotline hours. And whereas statistics show that in the United States, every 98 seconds, a person is sexually assaulted, and that 39% of rapes are committed by an acquaintance, and 33% are committed by a current, former spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend, with 1 in 6 women and 1 in 33 men have been the victim of an attempted or completed rape. And whereas the only state-certified sexual assault center in the area, the SASC, has a passion to educate the community on the prevention and awareness of sexual violence, including but not limited to rape, sex trafficking, DMST, sexual battery, dating, violence, healthy relationships, and stalking. And whereas the Sexual Assault Support Center also recognizes unique cultures and groups of all ages affected by sexual violence in their lifetimes, including LGBT, disability, homeless, and people of color communities. And whereas activities of Sexual Assault Awareness Month include media interviews, speaking engagements, and community events, including a one-of-a-kind fundraising event to feature a curated selection of artworks to be auctioned and the proceeds to benefit the center at 909. And whereas the City of Columbus supports the work of our local Sexual Assault Support Center and recognizes its important effort to educate our community in sexual assault, prevention, education, and awareness. Now, therefore, I, Skip Henderson, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019, as Sexual Assault Support Center Day.
Welcome. Kyle, you want to introduce? I know you and Karen, and I think
I
Laura.
do.
Yes.
Okay, so these are only 2 of the reasons here that I am successful, that the center is successful. Laurie Smithson, who is my victim resource advocate, and Karen Tyson, who is my assistant director. Andrea Daniel is my victim stats coordinator, and she is at the center tonight with support group. But I'd also like to introduce 2 Columbus State University representatives who are representing the Sexual Assault and Violence Education Task Force, which is part of our combined community response team with CSU, Tracy Willie and Lauren Jones, who would not get up. Wait. Yes, these are just a few of the people that help keep us going, that help make things successful. We're very, very proud of Columbus. We're very proud of the support we've had. A few of you have been very fortunate enough to see our beautiful new center on Talbotton Road. We've finally grown to the size that we really should be for Columbus, Georgia. And that's kind of a contradictory statement, because we really don't want to have a center large enough to serve all the number of victims that we have. But the reality is there are victims all around us. There are survivors all around us, and they do need the services that we provide. So sexual violence is really comprehensive, and you heard Charmaine Crabb mention some of the crimes that we deal with, and it's pretty extensive. But we have now, as of yesterday, signed a lease for the suite next door. So for those of you that have seen it, we're so excited that we're going to have this beautiful new space for crisis intervention, a drop-in. So we'll now be able to accommodate support group for adults over 18. We'll also have a teen support group and future on-site therapy. The current suite that we are in, we are also looking at forensic medical examinations coming very soon. And that's a big deal. The hospital has been very supportive. Piedmont has been very supportive because best practices is to do examinations for sexual assault kids outside of the emergency room. And so we are thrilled to death to be growing to this point, to be able to do it. Just kind of want to leave you with a little bit of some of the stats for what we've already seen this year. Which, you know, sad, but we're really pleased that more and more, because of the community support, because y'all are supporting survivors, they really are beginning to come out in numbers, and we would love to see that support continue. But some of the numbers so far, we've had 16 hospital calls in just the 3 months. We've had 6 crisis calls from the National Human Trafficking Hotline. And so that's, you know, pretty significant. We've had over 1,000 units of service already and approximately 87 new clients. So considering that's the first quarter of our year, that's pretty serious. But we appreciate the support. We would love to continue to have that from the community. We cannot do it without the community. So thank you for all that keep us going. Thank y'all. We would invite anybody to stop by and see us and see the beautiful services that are, the beautiful location and the services that are available to all. So thank you all.
Y'all do an amazing job, and the new facility is terrific. And your vision for what you'll be able to do because of the larger facility and some of the additional services you provide are, just thank you for what you do.
Thanks.
Y'all come around, let them shake your hand. All right. Next, we've got proclamation celebrating the Week of the Young Child. So I think the names we have is Rhea Bentley, Tammy Keith, Shakithia Simmons, Laurel Copeland, and Felicia Jones. I hope I didn't mess those up too bad. Let's put it this way, all with Week of the Young Child.
There's a lot of us.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. And Bruce Huff has this item. Counselor, if you'll hit your button, we'll get you turned on there.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. I always say when I get into the educational pieces of things, my mother taught school for 40 years, high school English, juniors and seniors, so I have a real foundation for education and what it means. And I personally remember being a first grader, learning my vowels and all the things about phonics and what a difference it made by the time I was in 3rd and 4th grade as far as spelling and trying to figure out things. So thank you all for what you do, and the proclamation reads, whereas the Week of the Young Child is an annual celebration sponsored by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, the world's largest early childhood education association with nearly 60,000 members. And whereas the purpose of the Week of the Young Child is to focus public attention on the needs of young children and their families, and to recognize the early childhood programs and services that meet those needs. Whereas the Week of the Young Child was first established in 1971, recognizing that the early childhood years, birth through age 8, lay the foundation for children's success in school and later life. The Week of the Young Child is a time to plan how we, as citizens of Columbus, Georgia, will better meet the needs of all young children and their families. And whereas today we know more than ever before about the importance of children's earliest years in shaping their learning and development, yet never before have the needs of young children and their families been more pressing. Young children and their families depend on high-quality education and care, which help children get a great start and bring lasting benefits to Columbus, Georgia. And whereas the Week of the Young Child is a time to recognize that children's opportunities are our responsibilities, and to recommit ourselves to ensuring that each and every child experiences the type of early environment at home, at child care, at school, and in the community that will promote their early learning. Whereas the University of Georgia Extension, Columbus, and its home visiting programs, parents, as teachers and healthy families, ask that you recognize that April 8th through the 12th, 2019, as the Week of the Young Child, and April 2019 as the Month of the Young Child. Now, therefore, B.H. Skip Henderson III, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, do hereby proclaim the week of April 8th through the 12th, 2019, as the Week of the Young Child. Thank you.
You want to say a few words and introduce your group?
Sure will. I'm Tammy Keith. I am the supervisor for the Parents as Teachers program. And so every year we like to celebrate this. We are a home visitation program, and we work with families prenatal up to kindergarten entry. So we're at the forefront, and we're right in the mix of when children really need that love and that care, that attachment, that language, everything that they need, and we bring it to the family. We do home visits, so the family, we can be in the environment where the child and the parent's most comfortable to be able to offer activities, offer parenting advice, offer behavior advice, those things that build parenting skills. So this is kind of near and dear to our heart every April when we do this. So we have a lot of things planned, and to steal a phrase, we do amazing, and we feel like we do that with our groups. So I've got my group with me, Jennifer Winnie, with our Parents as Teachers parent educator. We have Sandra Stone, gotta find everybody, Charlotte Barnett, and Rafaelina Sanchez, that are Parents as Teachers program, and then our Healthy Families program. Would you introduce?
Hi, my name is Shakithia Simmons, and I'm the program manager for Healthy Families. And my staff is Ms. Valacia Jones. She's my clinical supervisor. I have Laurel Copeland. She's our First Steps coordinator. Monica Parker is our home visitor. Soraya Wright is a home visitor. T.T. Turner is a home visitor. Ashley Maddox is a home visitor. And Virginia Peoples, she's a home visitor as well. And we go out to the homes and work with the moms. We do prenatal and postnatal moms.
Man, such an important job. Thank you all so very much for what you do.
And most of this would not be possible if we didn't have UG Extension and our county extension coordinator kind of helping support us as well, Ms. Redford.
Thank you. Y'all come around, let us thank you. All right, and next, Counselor House will present a proclamation honoring, in National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Shelley Hall, and bring your group up, please, ma'am. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Good to be here.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Certainly an honor to have an opportunity to read this resolution into the record. Whereas in 1982, the President's Task Force on Victims of Crime envisioned a national commitment to provide a more equitable and supportive response to victims, and whereas each April, a week is designated as a commemorative time to celebrate the energy, perseverance, and commitment that launched the victims' rights movement, inspired its progress, and continues to advance the cause of justice for crime victims. And whereas crime does not discriminate as it impacts and devastates individuals regardless of age, national origin, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation, immigration, or economic status. And whereas communities must do all in their power to reach all crime victims because those who have receive trusted services and support are more likely to remain invested in their communities. And whereas with unwavering support, survivors will be empowered to face their grief, loss, fear, anger, and hope, and without fear of judgment, they will feel understood, heard, and respected. And whereas service providers and agents of the criminal justice system must always seek to remove barriers such as isolation, distrust of authorities, language limitations, lack of transportation or cultural barriers, any issue hindering access of services which can help in a victim's recovery. And whereas engaging in a broader array of healthcare providers, community leaders, faith organizations, educators, and businesses to provide new connections between victims and services which improve safety, healing, and access to justice. And whereas honoring the rights of crime victims, including the rights to be heard and to be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect, and working to meet their needs, rebuilds their trust in the criminal justice and social service systems. And whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week is an opportunity to recommit to ensure that all victims of crime, especially those who are challenged to reach or serve, are afforded their rights and receive a trauma-informed response. And whereas the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit's DA Victim Witness Assistance Program is hereby dedicated to strengthening victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime, building resilience in our communities and our victim responders, and working for a better future for all victims and survivors. Now, therefore, Skip Henderson, Mayor of Columbus, does hereby proclaim the week, April 7th to 13th, 2019, as National Crime Victims' Rights Week.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So National Crime Victims' Rights Week is a time that's set aside nationally to remember crime victims, to educate local communities, and also to make sure that everyone's informed that not only crime victims have a right to their services, but where do they go to get those services? The theme this year is honoring our past and creating hope for our future. So crime victims are faced with struggles that the average person cannot possibly understand. Their lives have been torn apart by the actions of another person, and we all want to find a way that they can heal. However, we cannot expect anyone to move forward unless we reach out to them where they are and their loss and find a way to address their vital needs. When we acknowledge that they have gone through a loss, we listen to the ways that they need to be served, we validate and we honor what they have gone through. Only then can crime victims begin to see beyond what has happened to them and then get a glimpse of hope for their future. The way to validate anyone who is going through suffering is to support them in the needs that they have. We're very excited to announce a new program that we've started this year, which is on-site therapy. We have had many victims who were not eligible for the compensation funding, and they expressed a need for this on-site therapy. And so that's one of the things we kicked off this week was a program to reach out to all of the crime victims for offering therapy at our location. Some of the events that we have going on this week, all of these will be advertised on our Facebook page, so we urge everyone to check out our Facebook page, which is Columbus, Georgia Victim Witness Assistance Program. We've already begun educating area high school students as we have partnered with DARE, and we educate on human trafficking and also online safety and situational awareness. We're having a free child sexual abuse prevention certification next Friday. This is a 2-hour class that's free, and that information will also be on our website. And our annual memorial will wrap up Saturday, April 13th in the courtyard of the Government Center. And there's going to be community-based vendors, and they'll have information to hand out at their tables. Victims have an opportunity to display items in memory of their loved ones at remembrance tables, and our program begins at 2 o'clock. All information will be available on our Facebook page or call the office at 706-653-4426. I'd like everyone to just step up. I have my staff behind me, some volunteers, and then some crime victims, so I'll let them introduce themselves if that's okay.
Shelley, introduce
Yes.
yourself.
Pardon me?
Introduce yourself to the.
Oh, I'm Shelley Hall. I'm Director of the Victim Witness Program. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Shelley.
Nicole Smith, Victim Advocate.
I'm Charmaine Jackson, Victim Advocate as well.
Beth White, Victim Advocate.
I'm Marianne Wokey. I'm an armed robbery victim and a victim advocate.
My name is Chris Kelly. I am this year's MC for the rally on Saturday, April the 13th. So we want to invite all of you all to attend as well.
Thank you.
I'm Tamika Pugh, a homicide victim and the wife of James Richardson.
Sarah Haidu, Victim Advocate.
Bobby and Angela C. Wright, representing Bobby Jr.
Denise Dykes, Victim Advocate, intern.
Shelley, this is such a critical piece of the justice system, and you guys do it with empathy, and you do it very, very well, and we're grateful for what you do. So y'all come around and let council shake your hand. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to let Councilor House keep the mic, and he's got a proclamation for Columbus Reentry Week. Andrea Reese and David Hatton, are y'all here? Or whoever, is anybody here with Columbus Reentry Week? If Councilor House, if you like, you can read it into the record, and then we'll just make sure they get a copy.
Okay, I'll read it in the record. Thank you, Mayor. The National Department of Justice has declared the last week of April as National Reentry Week, and whereas the Georgia Prisoner Reentry Initiative, or GAPRI, is a strategic plan and framework that focuses on transition and accountability planning, case management, and evidence-based practices for returning citizens, and whereas the goal of GAPRI is to enhance public safety by reducing crime through the implementation of a seamless plan of services and supervision developed with each returning citizen, delivered through state and local collaboration from the time of their entry to prison through their successful transition, reintegration, and aftercare in the community, and whereas the Department of Community Supervision staff, in conjunction with corrections professionals and local community service providers, assist returning citizens in navigating barriers to successful reentry to ultimately increase public safety and reduce recidivism. And whereas the mayor and council recognize the Department of Community Supervision staff, community stakeholders, and Stations of Hope for their significant contributions to the Georgia Reentry Initiative and the difference they continue to make in our community, now therefore Skip Henderson, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, does hereby proclaim the week of 22nd to 26th April 2019 as Columbus Reentry Week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, next we have Councilor Thomas with a proclamation on recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month. So if our friends from the Exchange Club would come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's an honor to be able to read this into our record. Whereas child abuse is an ever-growing tragedy across America that affects the lives of every one of us, more than 3.2 million cases of child abuse were reported last year, affecting the lives of millions of children into whose hands we would eventually entrust the future of our nation. And whereas through the Child Abuse Prevention Program, the Exchange Club of Columbus creates greater public awareness of the problem of child abuse by educating the public on the seriousness of this serial malignancy. And whereas child abuse is a serious and growing problem affecting more than 3.2 million of our nation's children annually and thousands of children locally. And whereas this blight on our society that affects our children who are abused, neglected, or traumatized must be alleviated. And whereas the societal malignancy called child abuse respects no racial, religious, class, or geographic boundaries, and in fact has been declared a national emergency. And whereas child abuse prevention became the Exchange Club's national project in 1979 at the 61st National Exchange Club Convention. And whereas the Exchange Club of Columbus provides a variety of public awareness materials designed to help inform and increase awareness of child abuse and how it can be prevented. And whereas the Exchange Club of Columbus seeks to help families and those who support and encourage families as they seek to understand and problem solve the various challenges that come with raising children. And whereas the Exchange Club of Columbus, through its support of parent and parenting classes, educational programs, and community service activities, is making significant progress in educating parents and caregivers about the epidemic against families and children. Now, therefore, B.H. Skip Henderson, Mayor of Columbus, Georgia, does hereby proclaim the month of April 2019 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much for the proclamation. We had an organization that was proclaimed their day. We've had two their week. We wanted the whole month. So the month of April is the month that we focus on, although we do services all the year, and it is on our agenda every week. But today we have some members with us. Betty Lindsay, who is our secretary, Don Kefner is our Director of Administration and Chair of our Partners in Education, and Marguerite Kefner, who is Chair of our Child Abuse Prevention Program. So we're glad that we were able to come today and to share this with some of our information with you. Just during this month, we will be recognizing many organizations in the community. We will be supporting them, and Children's Treehouse is an affiliate of our National Exchange Club Child Abuse Advocacy Center. we earn are we able to provide these fundings for these organizations because of our fundraisers. So every time you eat that hot dog, or every pancake and sausage that you eat, and we appreciate everybody who does that, part of that is going for our child abuse prevention efforts. And in case we have anybody who's interested in golf, we have one more fundraiser coming up April the 26th. That will be our last one for this year. But we certainly appreciate your support and the support of the community as we try to prevent this, again, the situations where children are abused or neglected. And we just hope all the community will join in on those efforts.
Well, Ms.
And
Allen.
this is our President, Jennifer Allen.
Thank you.
I forgot that part.
Well, I got to tell you, hot dogs, pancakes, and golf, I'm waiting for something I don't like. No, thank you in the Exchange Club. Please take back to your club just how much we appreciate everything you do for the citizens of Columbus. So come around and let us thank you. We're getting there. Yeah, I need her though. All right. Thank you all very much. That wraps up the proclamations. We do have a number of resolutions that are being sponsored and authored by the Columbus City Council. And the first one is, the first three will be read by the Mayor Pro Tem. So we will turn the mic over to Mayor Pro Tem Evelyn Pugh.
Thank you.
And the first, I should have not, I messed up. The first resolution is for Mr. Grassler. Did I say that right? Officer Carlos Pagan Gillette and firefighter EMT Elizabeth Gomez. And anybody else in support of those individuals whose names I'm sure I messed up, please come to the front so we can honor these folks.
Good evening. A resolution recognizing Mr. Rada Graceler, Officer Carlos Pagan Gillette, and firefighter EMT Elizabeth Gomez for their contribution of time and expertise to the Office of Emergency Management, Columbus Fire and Emergency Medical Services, and the Western Hemisphere Institute for Society Cooperation, which is known as WINSEC, of Fort Benning, Georgia. Whereas the Emergency Management Division is responsible for conducting training, drills, and exercises, collaborating with departments and entities within the City of Columbus to better prepare for, respond to, and recover from various emergencies and disasters that may strike our city. Whereas the purpose of WINSEC is to provide professional education and training to eligible personnel of counties of the Western Hemisphere while fostering mutual knowledge, transparency, confidence, and cooperation among the participating counties, and promoting democratic values, respect for human rights, and knowledge and understanding of United States customs and traditions. Whereas the Emergency Management Division has partnered with WINSEC for many years to provide presentations and exercise experiences to Latin American students of WINSEC. And whereas the Emergency Management Division welcomes the special expertise of individuals to assist with role-playing and translation assistance during these joint exercises with WINSEC. Now therefore, the Council of Columbus, Georgia hereby resolves. We hereby recognize the unique contributions and support made to the successful conduct of the flooded region, exercised by Mr. Rada Graceler, Officer Carlos Pagan Gillette, and firefighter EMT Elizabeth Gomez. and a copy will be given to each one of you. Presented at the CCG Proclamation Resolution Session of the Council of Columbus, Georgia, held on the 2nd day of April 2019. And I move for its adoption.
Motion? We have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, it stands.
Mr. Mayor, Member of City Council, if I may say, the privilege of standing before you tonight is equaled only by the honor of being able to stand with these fine people that has helped us so much. Background, Emergency Management Division's prime mission, as the proclamation or the resolution read, is to ready the city and its agencies and entities to respond to and recover from all sorts of disasters, be they natural, man-caused, or technological. In order to do that, we cannot do it alone. We reach out into the community. We've partnered with Fort Benning for well over 20 years in the various forms of our exercises. We reach out to surrounding counties. We reach out to state and federal entities. This particular exercise was unique in that we were able to bring in the expertise of the individuals that are being recognized tonight to actually play roles of Spanish-speaking citizens and individuals when we partnered with WINSEC to simulate a flooded area downtown. So, you know, sometimes you think you've planned it well, but then you find out once you've reached out into the group and found particularly talented people, they've taken it to the next level, even beyond our expectation. So if I may, just for a moment, I would like to bring Lieutenant Chuck Hurlt, who is with the training division of the Columbus Fire and Emergency Medical Services. He was instrumental in helping me plan this exercise, and he has a plaque for each of the individuals he'd like to present.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, the significance of the roles that they portrayed, there were several moving facets or assets deployed during this particular scenario. It was a flooded region of South America. There was so much detail involved that we wanted to eliminate the language barrier to allow the students to focus on the task at hand without having to interpret the information they were receiving from the victims that were lost along the Chattahoochee River. We'd like to present a plaque to Mr. Raider Gressler, Officer Pagan Gillette, and Firefighter Gomez, and it reads as follows. For your dedication and selfless support of the 2018 WINSEC Civil Affairs course, Flooded Region Training Exercise. Your contributions were critical in establishing realism to the exercise, whereas the students were able to negotiate obstacles without the concerns of a language barrier. Your efforts bring great credit upon yourself, your agency, and the City of Columbus.
And it's just a small opportunity for the City of Columbus to push forward the ideals of democracy to our Southern and Latin American neighbors. So I think we benefit as much as they do. So thank y'all very much for the recognition.
Did y'all have anything else you want to say? Yes, sir.
Yeah, also, Mayor and City Council members, the significance of this particular event, a few months after we ran the flooded region scenario, we were contacted by students from Puerto Rico. And the triage program or the triage system that we use in prioritizing patients for transport was actually utilized in Puerto Rico after they were hit by a recent storm. We received several emails basically showing appreciation for a system that they really hadn't had in place before, though we did it on a daily basis as far as Columbus Fire and EMS. But what we've realized is there's no boundaries in public safety. Something that we do on a daily basis, they took and implemented it in Puerto Rico and saved lives with it. So not only are we affecting our community here between Columbus and Fort Benning, but now we're touching lives around the world. And individuals like this are playing an intricate part in that, and I can't say enough about them. So please give them a round of applause one more time.
Riley and Lieutenant, let me just tell y'all, thank y'all for what you do. The partnerships in Muskogee County and the partnerships with Fort Benning and with WINSEC allows us to have an impact, like you said, around the globe. And you know you're good when you practice till you get it right, but you know you're dedicated when you practice till you can't get it wrong. And that's what we do through emergency management, and that's what WINSEC allows us to do. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, I don't know if y'all noticed, but almost a month ago, we had a little wind blow through Columbus, Georgia, as well as some other areas of our counties, some other areas of our state, and even over into Alabama. And it was a devastating tornado. Our residents were spared any physical harm, but man, there was a lot of property damage. And as usual, the unsung heroes, the folks that do it every day and don't ever get a pat on the back or a thank you. We wanted to take an opportunity to thank some of those folks here this evening. So Mayor Pro Tem is going to present and offer up a resolution recognizing our first responders, our medical professionals and volunteers. We're going to ask the Public Works employees to wait just one moment, but if those individuals, if there are any of those represented here, please come forward to the podium.
Good evening. Again. A resolution recognizing first responders, medical professionals, and volunteers for their efforts after the recent severe weather. Whereas a series of devastating tornadoes tore through the Chattahoochee Valley on Sunday, March 3rd, resulting in 23 deaths in Alabama, injuries, destruction, and displacement. Whereas fortunately no fatalities occurred in Georgia, but Columbus and surrounding counties sustained heavy wind and property damage. Whereas local volunteer organizations, the Red Cross, FEMA, and Samaritan's Purse rushed to help victims, families, and survivors by providing shelters, lot clearing, supplies, food, medical care, and grief counseling. Whereas local businesses sent financial donations to help begin the process of reconstruction, and a huge outpouring of support came from within our community. And whereas the efforts of first responders and local and national aid organizations are worthy of special mention by this council. And therefore, the Council of Columbus, Georgia hereby resolves, we hereby express our deep appreciation to Public Works, Columbus Police Department, Columbus Fire and EMS Department, Muskogee County Sheriff's Department, and the Municipal Court Marshal's Department for their immediate response and for their contributions to the Columbus community during the recent severe weather events. A copy of this will be forwarded to those departments. Presented at the CCG Proclamation Resolution Session of the Council of Columbus, Georgia, held on the 2nd day of April, 2019. I move for its adoption.
Motion approved. There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You're all working, that's right. All right, and lastly, we did something a little bit different. I'm going to ask the employees of Public Works to come forward. And this is a little dangerous because when you start naming names, you invariably miss one. So if we did miss one, we'll get that corrected. But we thought it was important that each and every individual that has been working and is still working, by the way, we still have debris scattered around the northern end of the county. And these folks are still at it every day trying to clean that stuff up. And it's just been a monumental job that they have done, and we're so grateful. So Again, the Mayor Pro Tem is going to offer up a resolution, and it's going to take just a second because we tried to get all the names in here. And you'll all get a copy and a couple hundred extras to take with you.
That's fine. We'll make sure they get to the right people.
Thank you.
Good evening. A resolution recognizing public works employees by division for responding in the night of the recent tornadoes and for their continuing and untiring efforts to clean up the resulting storm debris. As the council wishes to express sincere appreciation for the following employees for their dedication and hard work. Forestry Division, responsible for cleanup of storm debris, Barry Brown, James Floyd, and if you hear your name is called, raise your hand, please. Christopher Dickerson, Jack Owens, Jerome Green, Johnny Clark, Christopher Anderson, Terry Evans, James Walden, Joseph Williams, Tracy Long, Jared Lacey, Austin Lanata, Monrico Walton, Jabaz Davis, Montrez Smith, Shannon Brown, Freddie Williams, Terrence Mahone, Matthew McLean, and Frederick Miller. Beautification, responsible for cleanup of storm debris. Michael Jordan, Travaris Lake, Frederick Green, Keith Campbell, Derek Jackson, Eric Williams, Dwayne Wright, Kelsey Dennis, Jose Garcia, Awatha Bowden, Kenneth Whitfield, James Battle, Demetrius Isom, Jonathan Barron, Blake Jerez, Craig Foxworth, Ray Bruner, Ricky McCargill, Theodore Presley, David Bryan, Terry Thomas, Darnell Thomas, Dexter Render, Grover Gunnemer, Jalen Culver, Kenel Jackson, Jesse Carpenter, Greg Collins, Michael Sanders, Alicia Glisson, Stephen Wrights, Norman Graham, Gregory Bentley, Boise Shaw, Alan Benoit, David White, Jonte Reynolds, Joseph Sawyer, Johnny Mosley, Randy Hodge, Paul Tolkien, Justin Griffith, Eric Blaylock, Victor Cardona, David Van Pelt, Ira Miller, Michael Gallops, Sylvester Parker, Willie Davis, Harold Lewis, Tim Calloway, and Jenny Mays. Waste Collection Division, Barry Alexander, Jawan Jenkins, Lorenzo Buford, Lashiba Mack, Vicky Carey, Tamika Mitchell, Danielle Colgan, Brian Nelson, Walter Davis, Henry Sparks, Christopher Spillers, Darian Dixon Sr., Timothy Hendricks, Jeffrey Williams, Isaac Hunter, James Baker, Wendy Jones, Melvin Caldwell, Jerry Miller, Ernest Clark, Charles Moultrie, Robert Davis, Samuel Randolph, Edward DeRiso, Ken Stewart, Julian Fagan, Troy Vanderson, Joshua Hunt, Daniel Babcock, Bunny Jones, Norman Blackshear, Mark McMurphy, Kelsey Chadwick, Jennifer Morris, Timothy Cotton, Shantae Newsom, Clarissa Denard, Shirley Dixon, Dwight Thomas, Vincent Thomas, and Demetrius Hudson. Street Division. Nick Kelly, Carlos Tavera, William Joyner, Timothy Moffitt, Joel Fussell, Andrew Lockett, Granite Bluff. Richard Smith, Marco Miller, Shannon Brooks, Marlo Palmer, and Janet Anthony. Whereas the efforts of these employees are worthy of a special recognition by this council. Now therefore, the Council of Columbus, Georgia hereby resolves. We hereby express our deep appreciation to Public Works for their immediate response and for their contributions to the Columbus community during and following the recent severe weather events. You have all received a copy of the resolution, and I move for its adoption.
Motion? Motion second to approve. All in favor, please state. And that meant it was approved, by the way.
Thank you. First, let me thank you all for your patience. I know it was a very long list, but we have a large organization, and they have all been out there working very, very hard, and are likely to be at it for another month or two, and hopefully not longer than that. I checked this afternoon, and to date, they have removed over 40,000 cubic yards of tree debris from the northern area of the city. My original estimate of how much we'd have to pick up was somewhere in the neighborhood of 50,000, and seeing what's still out there, it's going to be quite a bit more than that. But they have been there uncomplaining and unfailing, making things happen. So I'm incredibly proud of them. I don't have the words to even begin to say, but they have been there, and they have been the anchor for this city, getting it back to where it needs to be. The head of urban forestry, which has been kind of taking the lead on this operation, is Scott Jones. And Scott, I think you have a couple of things to say.
I just wanted to say that, you know, when things like this happen, everyone looks to me as city arborist and my immediate staff to coordinate, and which we do. But, you know, my whole division of 80 plus employees has been working on this tirelessly along with everyone else on the list. And what I'm proud to be associated with is a group like this, when something happens, that everyone comes together, because we couldn't do it with my 83 employees. It's a department-wide effort, and these guys were, when this thing hit and came through on the afternoon of the 3rd, they were ready to go. Obviously, we couldn't get in until power lines and everything were cleared, but as soon as they were there to work through the night and pretty much around the clock for that first week. And everyone that was involved really just needs kudos, because we really could not have done it without a group effort, and they really have came through as they have in the past. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, and I'll tell you from the unique perspective of somebody who was impacted by that tornado, I'll tell you that victims of something like that aren't always the most patient people in the world. You know, I'm just saying, and I include myself in that. And I got to tell you, I've never been so proud of a group of folks as to watch these professionals, these people who care about the way they do their job, carry it out, and to do it in a manner that brought pride to themselves, their families, and their departments. Guys, just know that you are, we're so grateful for what you did.
And Mr. Mayor, this is the first time in 30 years that all the employees have been recognized like this.
Yeah, it's high time. Thank you. Y'all come around and let us shake your hands.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good leadership of a great crew.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, we've got some pretty good employees, don't we, Mr. City Manager? All right, next is Counselor Huff. Counselor Huff, you hit your button, we'll get you. And I think you want to recognize a couple of basketball teams.
A couple of basketball teams we want to recognize today. Could I have the girls and boys of Carver High School to come forward? Girls first, and then the boys will be second. Tim, come on up.
Welcome,
Spread
ladies.
out.
Y'all can come on up.
Spread out across the front. Yeah.
Need to stand right at the podium.
Yeah.
You can all kind of circle around there.
Circle.
Semi-circle.
As we get started, I did a little homework with one of my friends since I've seen you last, and it was stated to me that from all the research that Carver boys and girls was the first to both win a state title here in Columbus, Georgia. And that across the state, from what we could find, it's only happened in the state of Georgia 18 times in the history of the state. Ladies, work with me. You did a great job with me last time. If the name's not quite right, I want you to sound off. I want to get it right, okay? All right. Whereas March 8, 2019 was the biggest day in the history for the Carver High School basketball program, as the boys and girls teams both won Georgia High School Association 4A basketball state titles at the Macon Complex. Whereas the Lady Tigers defeated defending state 4A champ Spalding 56-44, and the Tigers topped Region 1 rival America's Sumter 58-55. Whereas the Lady Tigers finished the season undefeated, won the first state championship in the girls' program's history. Whereas the achievements of the Carver High School girls basketball team are worthy of special recognition by this council. Now therefore, the Council of Columbus, Georgia hereby resolves. We hereby commend and congratulate the following members of the Carver High School girls basketball team for the first state championship in the girls' program history. Janiyah Love Hill, that right? Okay.
Wave at us when he calls your name.
Janiyah is known as the General. Jalen Shaw. Shadrea, is it Shadrea? Shadrea Mabry. Yes. Mia Reese. Shania Riles. Empress Ashford. Marlisha Johnson. Is this Malaysia? Howard? Okay, but is that right? Yes. Okay. Alana Lee? Is it Saya Hall? Is that right? Okay. Olivia Cochran? Demaya Beecham? Kamaya Edmonds? Kiana Gaines? Jordan Morgan? Adari Smith? Is this Shanoria Taylor? Is that right? Okay. Coach Anson Huntley, and staff. That a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Carver High School, presented at the CCG Proclamation Resolution Session of the Council of Columbus, Georgia, held on 2nd day of April 2019, and adopted at said meeting by affirmative vote of 10 members of council. I move for adoption.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, please stand. Coach?
Coach?
We really just like to thank everybody for all the support over the season. It was a great season. The girls worked extremely hard for us to get a state championship. We're back working now, trying to see if we can win another one. So we definitely appreciate all the support through the season, and look for more support next year. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think the Mayor Pro Tem wants to say a few words real quick. She's a Carver alum now. So
I'm proud 1968 graduate of Carver High School. Didn't play basketball, but I was a cheerleader. But I just want to say, you all made us so proud. And I've always been proud to be a graduate of Carver High School, and even more now. And y'all just keep on doing like you're doing, and you will get another championship.
Good job.
Congratulations.
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 Suitable. Congratulations.
How are you?
So proud of y'all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach. Tell them to send the money. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you again.
Congratulations. Now, did your dad win or did he win?
Councilor Huff, hit your light again. I accidentally turned you off.
Yeah, we were sitting up here laughing. Coach Huntley's father and I played against each other in high school. Coach Thomas asked which won the most. He said his dad. Girls, before you leave, Lady Tigers, thank you. I'm thanking the boys, too. I know it's been a long day today. You've been celebrated for weeks on top of weeks, and I know you've been in school all day. So thank you so much for being patient with us today and coming so we could do this the right way. Thank you. Okay, on to the boys. Whereas this marked the Tigers' second, I want you to get this. The boys topped their rival, America Sumter, 58-55. Whereas this marked the Tigers' second state championship in the boys' program history, having won the GHSA Class 3A championship in 1971. And whereas the achievements of the Carver High School boys basketball team are worthy of special recognition by this council, now therefore the Council of Columbus, Georgia hereby resolves, we hereby commend and congratulate the following members of the Carver High School boys basketball team for winning the GHSA 4A state championship. A.J. Watts, D.J. Riles, is it Josias Credo? Jacaius. Is it Credo or Cradle? Jacaius Cradle, Ja'Cory Hopper, James Wilder, Jalen King, Devin Flowers, Kenya Burns, Demetrius Carter, Amari Johnson, head coach Warren Bueller, assistant coach Brian Fisher, assistant coach Richard Reese, Manager Brenton Ogletree, Trainer Aubrey True, Assistant Trainer Jasmine Woods, Scorebook Keeper Shirley Harmon and Ladella English, Statistician Anthony Tarver, Score Clock Keeper Sharon Calhoun, Videographer Angel Ramsey, Lead Custodian Kathy Fluellen, Cheerleading Coaches Roxanne Jarrett, Kanisha Harbison, Athletic Director Corey Joyner, Assistant Principals Lisa Norris, Cassandra Phillips, and Principal Christopher Lindsay. Let a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Carver High School. Presented at the CCG Proclamation Resolution Session of the Council of Columbus, Georgia, held on the 2nd day of April 2019, and adopted at said meeting by affirmative vote of the said council.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Motion second to approve. All in favor, please stand. Coach?
First of all, I just want to say thank you all for having us here. These guys, I don't know if you all know it, but it's kind of been real tough for us to follow up the girls all year. You know, when they go undefeated, then we had to come out. It was a hard job. These guys put in a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of sweat. Sometimes we didn't quite see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, we won the state championship, and they can take that with them for life. We just appreciate y'all having us here. Thanks for the support.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I just want to tell you, I'm just as proud as you all, as I am the girls. You all represented us well. And Coach, I know you all are really trying to raise money to get their rings. If someone wants to contribute, who should they send money to?
Well, you can just go through the school, Ms. Bartel, and she will take care of everything. It goes into athletics, so get in touch with our bookkeeper, Ms. Bartel at Carver High School.
Okay.
One last comment. You all have been so humble throughout this process. I wanted the council and the public to know that since we last celebrated, one of their coaches had a fire at his home, and I think lost everything or mostly everything. And he has been in such a great spirit. I saw him a day or two afterwards, and he and his wife, daughter were really in great spirits, just happy to be alive and everything, but they're moving forward, so please pray for them, and however we can help, please let us know. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We're proud of you guys. Come around, let's thank you.
Good job.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
I'll tell you what, that was one heck of a celebration, too. All right, Mayor Pro Tem, there's a couple of resolutions to read into the record.
Okay. Express an appreciation to Mr. Derek Green for his meritorious service on the Recreation Advisory Board. Express an appreciation to Ms. Rena Hall for her meritorious service on the Community Development Advisory Council. And express an appreciation to Mr. Doug Jeffcoat, his meritorious service on the Uptown Facade Board. And I move for adoption.
Motion second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, is Mr. Green or Ms. Hall or Mr. Jeffcoat here? All right, we'll forward these to them, make sure they get them with our gratitude. And that is all for our proclamation evening. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.